My name is Cadence. I work the closing shift at a small dive bar in the quieter part of town. The place is right off the highway, but the parking lot also has a back entrance that leads into the neighborhood. It's nothing fancy, just a dimly lit spot where the regulars know each other by name. And the jukebox has been playing the same classic rock songs for years. Most of our customers are locals, truckers passing through, or the occasional lost tourist looking for a stiff drink. I don't mind it though. The routine is predictable, the tips are decent, and I've learned how to handle all kinds of bar crowds. The talkers, the flirters, the quiet drinkers, and the ones who just want to be left alone. Weekends are busier, but the downside of working weeknights is that I'm alone. No bar back, no co-workers, just me. It's slower, sure, but sometimes I miss having someone to talk to. I've always been careful during my shifts because we get the occasional bar fight, given the kind of crowd we attract. That's why I noticed. Himshao kaha. Right away. It was a little after 1 a.m. on a Tuesday when he walked in. If I had to guess, he was in his late 40s, but he stood out. Clean cut, well-groomed, not the usual type we see in a place like this. He wore a black turtleneck under a black trench coat. Dressed nice, but not flashy. There was something about him. An air of quiet money, the kind that doesn't need to show off. He glanced around slowly before walking straight to the bar and taking a seat. I remember thinking he had oddly perfect posture, but that wasn't the weirdest part. When I walked over, he looked at the top shelf liquor behind me and ordered something expensive without hesitation. As I poured his drink, he smiled and asked, "Do you like working here?" It was a normal enough question, so I answered honestly. Yeah, it's not bad. I even made some joke about bartending, trying to keep it light. I wish I could say he gave me a creepy vibe, but he didn't. He seemed normal, friendly even, like the kind of guy who'd cheer on his kid's little league team. We chatted for a bit, nothing unusual, just small talk. Then, out of nowhere, he asked, "Ever think about doing something bigger?" That threw me off. It wasn't necessarily creepy, just random. I gave him my usual bartender smile and said, "I'm happy where I'm at for now." He nodded, sipped his drink, and looked almost disappointed. After a long pause, he hit me with another question. "What time do you get off?" Now, that surprised me. Up until then, there'd been zero flirting, just casual conversation. I brushed it off with a vague answer, pretending to wipe down the counter to avoid the subject. But he didn't push. He just smiled like he already knew the answer, finished his drink, and left a crisp $100 bill on the bar, like it was nothing. Then he walked out without another word. I didn't know what to make of it. The whole thing was off. Not threatening, just strange. I figured I'd never see him again. I was wrong. A week later, he came back, this time with a woman. She caught my attention immediately. Mid-30s, dressed in a way that didn't quite match her age, trendy but trying too hard. Everything about her felt calculated. The way she smiled too wide, the way she leaned against the bar, like we were old friends. The first thing she said wasn't "hello" or "I'll have a drink." It was, "You're so pretty." Her fingers brushed my arm as she said it, lingering just a second too long. I laughed it off, but something felt wrong. The man stayed quiet, which was weird because he'd been so talkative before. They ordered drinks, and then the questions started. How long have you worked here? How old are you? Do you like meeting new people? I answered politely, but it didn't feel like small talk. It felt like an interview. At one point, the woman glanced at the man, and it was like they were having a silent conversation. Then she turned back to me, leaned in, and lowered her voice. I run an exclusive event club, she said. We're always looking for fun young people. You'd make 10 grand in a weekend. I forced a laugh. Sounds too good to be true. She insisted it was real, rattling off words like safe, private, and exclusive. Then casually she said, "You should step outside. There's someone who can explain it better." My stomach dropped. "I'm good," I said, my voice firm. No smile this time. Just then, a group of customers walked in, laughing loudly. The woman's fake friendly mask slipped for half a second before she turned to the man. Without another word, they left. I told my co-workers and boss what happened. We agreed to keep an eye out in case they came back. My boss assured me the security cameras were enough to deter trouble. But what could we really do? They hadn't done anything illegal. I tried to forget about it. Then, a few nights later, I saw the car. It was parked across the street after closing, engine off, just waiting. I told myself it was nothing, but the feeling of being watched crawled over my skin like static. I kept my head down, keys clenched in my hand as I walked to my car. When I pulled out of the lot, I checked my mirrors. The car followed. Not obviously, just enough to stay behind me. Every turn I made, it was there. I took random side streets, but it kept following. I panicked. Without thinking, I swerved into a police station parking lot. The second I did, the car sped off. For a while, nothing else happened. But I knew it wasn't over. One slow weeknight, around midnight, the door creaked open. It was Hershey. I texted my boss immediately, trying to stay calm. She walked to the bar, sat down, and folded her hands neatly. "Thought I'd come check on you," she said, smiling. My stomach twisted. "We're about to close. You'll have to leave." She pouted. "Just one drink? An old-fashioned?" I figured stalling would buy time for my boss to arrive, so I turned to make it. Then I heard it, the soft click of the front door locking. I whipped around. She was gone. Through the glass, I saw a black van idling outside. Then, banging us from the back door. Someone was trying to break in. I grabbed a metal shaker, dialed 911, and braced myself. The cops wouldn't get there in time. I thought about running out the front, but something stopped me. Then, headlights. My boss pulled in. The banging stopped. The van screeched out of the lot. When the cops arrived, we checked the security footage. It was worse than I thought. Before the woman left, the cameras caught two masked figures. Crouching near the front door, another person was at the back, banging, trying to force me outside. The license plate my boss got? Fake. It's been months, and there's been no progress. The only good thing, I don't work alone anymore, but I still wonder, how did they know I'd be by myself, and what would have happened if I'd run out that door? Davar M1, gas station night shift, bonus story. I used to work nights at a gas station off a quiet highway. Used to, because after what happened, I'll never do it again. One night, around 2:30 a.m., I stepped outside for air. The lot was empty. Just me, the pumps, and the trees beyond. Then I saw Kihim. A man in a dark red hoodie, standing behind a pump, no car, just overwaiting. When he finally came inside, He muttered about his car breaking down, needing a jump. But his story didn't add up. Then he pointed at the security monitor. See? It's right there. I looked, and sure enough, a car was parked near the highway. But I'd just been outside. There was no car before. Then I noticed someone was crouching near the bumper. I pretended to help, but hit the panic button instead. The alarm blared. The man didn't run. He just smiled. A slow, knowing grin. Then he walked out, like he had all the time in the world. The cops found the car. Stolen. Abandoned. No leads. I quit the next day. Plus, Walmart night shift. Another story. A few weeks ago, I was stocking electronics at Walmart when I noticed a man watching me. He wasn't shopping, just lingering, always nearby. Then a woman grabbed my arm, acting like we were friends. "That guy's been recording you," she whispered. I let her pull me away, until I realized she was leading me toward an employee exit. I ran. Turns out, she was with him the whole time. The cameras caught his face, but hers? Never fully visible. And the creepiest part? She knew my name. Like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling true stories. Stay safe out there.